I'm Jennifer White, and I'm going to share with you my nonfiction picks for summer to help keep your kids' minds fresh and ready for school going back in the fall. So my first book I want to share with you is for the younger crowd. This is from our My First Reference Book series. This is my first reference book about our world, and this is just a really great introduction to children to geography. This answers questions such as how many oceans are there, and where do penguins live, and what is the weather like in Australia. Just really neat, fun facts, and it helps get children interested in the world around them and helps them to understand that things are not the same everywhere. It's not always cold at Christmas time. This is our Astronaut's Handbook. This is such a fun book. I find myself looking through this because it just has so many cool facts in it about outer space that I had just never even occurred to me that I didn't even think about. This book is full of tips such as how do you walk on the moon? What's walking on the moon like? What's involved in that? How do you go to the bathroom in outer space? How do you eat? How do you sleep? What's it like? This book answers all those questions and so much more. It's lots of fun for reference, just for reading, just to learn cool facts. Great book. Everybody needs a good thesaurus, and this is the Not Your Everyday Illustrated Thesaurus. I love that Usborne brings illustrations into their nonfiction books. I think that it makes it so much more real and tangible to children, and I think that having a paper dictionary and a paper thesaurus that you can actually hold and see and flip through really gives you more of a learning opportunity, really helps children with learning alphabetical order, learning how to use a reference book, and so this is a great one, especially for children who are starting to write their own papers in school. Everybody needs a thesaurus. 100 Things to Know About Science. Again, it's just a really great general knowledge, know-it-all reference book about all different aspects of science, whether it's physical science, mechanical science, life science. This is a great book to have around. So many really fun facts and interesting things that you might have never even thought of are all contained in this book. This is from our Discovery Adventures series. This is called Survival. There are several books in this series, and I love these because it's giving you a perspective on real life. So this one about survival tells you about all the different scenarios you could find yourself in where you might need to know basic survival skills. What's important to know? What's important to do? How do you act? How do you keep yourself warm? How do you keep yourself fed? Really neat, fun facts. And there are lots of books in this series as well. So this is a great one for children ages 8 and older, really great glossy illustrations and photographs. It's a great option. This is a book that I use a lot with homeschooling, but my children love it even when we're not schooling. This is Time Traveler. So this is a history book. It's actually a combined volume of 4 books that takes you from the medieval times to the Viking Age, the Roman world, and ancient Egypt. And I think the thing that my kids love so much about this book is that it reads like a story. It reads like a narrative, and it reads in the first person, in the second person actually, as if you are the time traveler, and it's telling you what you would expect. This is what your school would be like. This is where you find yourself. This is what you would eat for lunch. And I think that's one of the reasons that they love it so much. Now, I've already talked a little bit in some of my other videos about some ways to keep your minds fresh and ready for math. This is our Lift the Flap Times Tables book. Now, this is a great one because I know that I've mentioned before, flaps are proven to help children retain and recall information. And so not only does it make it fun, I mean, who doesn't like lifting these flaps, but it helps children without them even realizing it, helps them to learn and remember these facts. This is a great way, great alternative to flashcards. Again, with the illustrations, Usborne has just hit it out of the park. And even my 3 almost 4-year-old twins love this book and can even remember some of the facts because they have so much fun when they look through it. Now, from our beginners series, this is our coding for beginners using Scratch. If you have children who love Minecraft, this is the book for you. Even if you don't have children who love Minecraft, this is a great introduction to coding that all children should be exposed to computer coding and should learn how to use a computer on a basic level in terms of coding and different commands, and this is a great way to get them introduced to that. Depending on what your children have already been exposed to at school, there may be some things in here that they've already learned, but it's definitely a great tool to have as a reference. And this is recommended for children ages 8 and up. Another one of our beginner books is Gardening for Beginners. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not a beginner gardener, but I love this book. I actually use this book for myself for reference when I am planting my flower gardens to figure out sort of, what's going to work in the right climate, how deep do these seeds need to go. This is just a great way to introduce children to the science and the hobby of gardening. And finally, I want to share with you World of Shakespeare. I'm a big Shakespeare fan. Usborne is a UK company, and so I think there's a deep history there with Shakespeare, and I love this Shakespeare reference book. This book lets you get a window into what it was like in Shakespeare's time, from the Globe Theatre, where his plays were put on, to things about his modernizations of his plays, problem plays. There were certain problems, certain plays that didn't really fall into the tragedy or the comedy. So they were sort of like, where does this play go? Talks about those, modernizations of the plays, movies, or modern stage versions where things have been sort of changed around to fit the times. Just lots of different really cool facts about Shakespeare, and it just brings it alive to children. I think sometimes Shakespeare can be intimidating, and so we don't always want to talk about it because we're not really sure we really understand the language or what the plays were coming from or what the point was, and this book really sort of helps bring that all together. I hope these nonfiction books will help you decide on something to choose for your children to have for them this summer, and I hope that you have a great summer.